Welcome back to the Friday 5 for August 23rd, 2024. My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm a business law and estate planning attorney with offices in Edina, Minnesota and New York City. Today, let's look at 5 quick questions from the week, answering about 5 minutes. Maybe these are questions you've had before as well. Question number 1 this week, am I personally responsible for my business debts? So in this case, we have a business owner who had signed a variety of contracts, including a lease for the space for their office and some other contracts with vendors. And they're having some financial difficulties, and they were wondering which of these debts were they going to be personally responsible for. And if this is a question you've got, the place to look is your contracts and find out who the parties to the contract are. Normally it'll be between your business and the other party, but also look for what we call a personal guarantee. So if there's a personal guarantee, either at the end of the document or the end of the contract, then you sign it as personally guaranteeing it, and maybe you have others who signed it as well. If the business is unable to fulfill their obligations under this contract and money is owed, then the other party is able to go after you personally, and you could be personally liable. So check for that personal guarantee. Question 2 this week, can I move my company to a different state? So the process of moving to another state is called domestication, and it's recently been in the news with Elon Musk announcing that he was going to move Tesla from Delaware to Texas. And in this case, actually, the caller was having the same question. He wants to move his company from Delaware to Texas. Because a few years ago, everybody would recommend that if you're setting up a company, you file in Delaware, which is one way to do it. However, in this case, he's in a different state, and then he had to file in Delaware to set up, but then also file locally as a foreign Delaware company doing business in his local state. And so the question was, do we want to just drop the Delaware piece and just move to the other state? You can do this, and what you need to research is the domestication law in your state, and that is there's 2 options. One is you have to shut down your company and open an entirely new one in your state. The second option is you can actually move the company from one state to the other, and it's just a matter of what your local laws say on domestication as to whether you have to shut down the company first or if they will allow you to move it. Question 3 this week, when does a beneficiary get their money under a will? Now, unfortunately, when you're dealing with a probate court, these days it can be quite some time until things get distributed and worked out. So in this case, the parties have a will, and the party's will says that this person was to receive some money under the will, but they haven't received it yet. Now, the challenge is the will is being probated in New York, and we pulled up the case online and found out it's just been a really long process of getting all the documents filed, and they were waiting on the court. So just because someone died and there's a will doesn't mean you're automatically getting paid tomorrow. You can't necessarily bank on an immediate inheritance, because if there's a will, then chances are it has to go through your probate court before that distribution can be made. This is one of the advantages of a trust, because the trust assets do not go through your probate court. The trust assets can actually be distributed faster to somebody after you've passed away. Question 4 this week, should I do an estate plan before my baby is born? So we have a very nice young couple we're working with, and they're having a baby in the upcoming months. And the question was, should they wait until the baby is born to do the estate plan? And in this case, my advice is no, you should not, especially in the case of the soon-to-be mother. We want to make sure we have your estate plan documents in place, including that healthcare directive and your HIPAA authorization and any other powers of attorney and living will that we need, because, if something goes wrong with that pregnancy, if something goes wrong with the delivery, we want to make sure that mom is protected and we have all the right documents in place. And so what we're recommending to do is that let's do the estate plan, get everything in place so you've got peace of mind. And then after the baby is born, we can go back and amend your estate plan. We can amend your will. If you're creating a trust, we can just add the child to the trust. But it's very important that we have that document in place before you go into that delivery room, just in case there's anything medically that needs to be done. Question 5 this week, do I need a will if I have a trust? And this is a really common question I get. So a will and a trust are both parts of your estate plan. Almost everybody does a will. Not as many people do a trust. And you can actually do a separate trust that doesn't have a will attached to it. You need to really go through the steps and speak to a professional about whether or not that's the process that makes the most sense for you. If you have children under 18, you need to remember that a trust cannot appoint someone as a guardian. So you can have a trust and have someone managing money for the children, but without a will, you're still leaving the question of who would be their guardian up to the courts after you're gone. So especially if you have children under under 18, I do not recommend having a trust but not a will, but you may be able to find reasons why you may want to consider it. But again, speak to a professional. Make sure you talk to an estate planning attorney about the trust and whether or not that will needs to go with it. So that's it. Those are our 5 questions for the week. If you like this video, you can hit the like or thumbs up button below. You can subscribe for future episodes on YouTube. You can submit a question for future episodes at the link below. And you can always go to my website, 𝙃𝙀𝙍𝙀𝙀.com, for more information or to set up a legal strategy session. Wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful weekend.